play by both Lendl and Connors.
Both ends of the court. Bring back my shoulders. Lendl just a routine ace, but Connors says, no, let's keep it in play. Almost hits a winner himself, so Lendl says, try that for size. Connors says, I think I'll extend my size. Puts it back, and Lendl behind him. The proper wrong footing that no one would retrieve.
And the third set point of this game.
Oh!
It's long. To Ivan Lendl, and he takes the first set 6-3, and we'll be right back after these messages. The statistics in the first set. Lendl's first serve percentage very low, 41, but he has 3 aces, 12 winners to Connors 3.
So how do you argue, though, with that serving percentage when it gets you the set? But you can say for Connors, he must serve in the 70s. He's too low, because his serve isn't a brutal weapon as Lendl's is.
Connors to serve in the far court to open the second set. Ivan Lendl winning the first set 6-3. They're playing the best 2 of 3 tiebreaker sets. This is the finals, PaineWebber Classic, Sanibel Harbour Resort in Florida.
Now we're being buzzed by a helicopter, undoubtedly photographers. Connors made a motion as though he wished he had a rocket launcher. Connors said yesterday after beating Gomez that he didn't feel he was really into the match until the second set began. He lost the first set and was down 2-love in the second. He said, I finally started hitting the ball the way I wanted.
That time serving to Lendl's forehand, but 16 of the 22 points he has served to Lendl's backhand.
Well, his natural slice, of course, goes over there.
40-love.
Boy, does a server like, so far anyway, cheap game like this on a hot day.
Connors holds at love, and he leads 1-love in the second set. We're at beautiful Sanibel Harbour Resort in Florida, southwest coast. Underneath the stadium, they're building a great international spa. We had a little tour of it. Not completed yet, but it is going to be a very exciting resort area.
And I look out my window and look at San Carlos Bay. So nice. And this morning, my daughter and I went swimming over the causeway on Sanibel Island. We walk in the water and up pop a couple of dolphins. It was terrific.
But a close call. And now we have our special slowpoke camera.
Let's check Jim Valley's call.
Well, I think he missed it, and I think he missed it when I saw it. I was surprised.
But we feel, Slowpoke feels, Charlie Jones feels, it was good. But Jim Valley says out.
And he has the deciding vote.
He's the guy, isn't he?
He's the guy.
And it was much too close for Charlie Beck to overrule the umpire. You're right, Charlie. You don't overrule that.
Temperature on the court climbing towards 110 degrees.
Their feet must feel like bacon on the griddle.
Service ace number 4 for Ivan Lendl, and he leads 40-love. Now Connors wanted love to open the second set, and Lendl has a chance here now to hold it love, to even it up at a game apiece in the second set. Lendl took the first set 6 games to 3. One service break in the 6 games. He broke Connors at love.
Gee.
Game to Lendl as he holds at love, and the games are 1-all in the second set.
Lendl's hoping to really reestablish himself. He's number 3 in the world, but he didn't have a good season last year by his standards. He won 2 tournaments, or 3 tournaments. Jimmy won 5 tournaments, and of course Connors has the all-time record for men, 105 championships starting in 1972. Lendl has won 40.
Connors age 32, Lendl age 25, 7 years difference. Backhand down the line.
Well, Jimmy is picking his spots to come in, but he has not been very successful. He's catching the ball well on the rise and attacks the backhand, but Lendl ripped it with a little bit of topspin.
Connors to the net 17 times, but with only 4 winners. Lendl, as you see, has stayed in the backcourt.
Nearer my baseline to thee. That's his philosophy.
Can he win the major, though?
Well, he won the French.
Baseline. He won the French. And he has total recall of that match, too, which is interesting. Very much like a golfer.
He does, doesn't he? Yes. That was interesting when we talked to him about it. The only player I ever met like that was Charlie Passerell. Remembers every stroke he ever hit.
Love 30, so Connors now in trouble on his serve in the 3rd game of the second set.
Let's look at Lendl. See him switch his grip, goes to the western grip, drops the head of the racket, hits straight up, and delivers that lethal topspin.
New slowpoke camera really picking out the details on the replay.
It's a real snooper, that camera.
Connors to the net. Topspin lob. It's good. Lendl caught him leaning. And it is love 40. Triple break point.
This is a shot that Lendl has. Now Connors decides he's going to attack on the next ball. He does get a short ball. Hits on the service line. Not too bad, but what do? Just get a stiff neck looking.
It slices wide. Game to Lendl, and he's up a service break. Lendl leads 2-1 in the second set. Well, it's Valentine's Day someplace, and we love you, Jimmy. Later today, join Merlin Olsen, Ahmad Rashad, and Bruce Jenner, Superstars, on Sports World on NBC.
Well, they love Jimmy, and he loves this area.
He's moved here.
He's moved here. You know, often these fellas front for a resort, and they stop in to pick up their mail. but he found that he likes it. His kids like the beach, or his kid Brett does. The baby's too young. Likes the beach, and so the Belleville Basher has become a Floridian.
And right now is behind. Down a service break to Ivan Lendl. Lendl serving, leading 2-1 in the second, and Lendl won first set 6-3. His service break there was in the sixth game. He broke at love. He broke here at love.
Nine straight points for Lendl. Jimmy again picking Lendl's pocket for a moment with that return, but loses the point.
Wide. Lendl continuing to control the match, and he's controlled it almost from the outset, as if Connors has to scramble back uphill in every game.
He's sure in his stroking. Jimmy seems to be guiding a lot of the ground strokes.
Here's long. There's a delightful restaurant right behind us, titled Jimmy's. Excellent food, tremendous service.
Everything here is called Jimmy's. The stadium is named for Connors, the restaurant, the tournament.
Our waiter Tom did say, though, that should he lose, you're going to change the name to Ivan's restaurant.
Time the sneak volley didn't work.
(40-15). Lendl up a break in the second, leading 2-1.
Roberto Fastigi had to duck as he made his call.
Game to Lendl. Lendl now leads 3-1 in the second set after winning the first set in 48 minutes, 6-3.
And Connors, despite all his exertions, marvelous returns, has been having trouble controlling the ball. Ivan Lendl out of Ostrava in the Moravian section of Czechoslovakia.
Connors serving at 1-3 in the second.
presence by Lendl. He was out of that point, worked his way back into it, and waited for Jimmy to miss.
When Lendl gets in trouble in the match, it seems as if he wants to hit short, pull Connors to the net, because Jimmy seems to have a problem today with the short ball and with his approach and the volleys at the net.
Hey, big spectator. Great American spectator there. Shut up.
Plays the bounce. He'll bounce it again.
Lendl lobbed very well defensively. The ball hitting between the service line and the baseline, and it took two very good smashes by Connors to finish the point. Would you say that was Tchaikovsky's Serenade for Strings?
No, I say it was Lendl's Straighten Up the String Serenade.
Oh. Sliced backhand, making Jimmy go for the shot and make the errors. And that hurts. And here are the biggest points of the day.
15-40. 2 break points now for Lendl to pick up his second break in the second set. Connors serving 1-3. He has to hold here. It's wide. Game to Lendl. And Ivan Lendl has 2 service breaks and leads 4 games to 1 in the second set. Ivan Lendl, his tennis today, Bud, is a notch above Jimmy Connors. He broke him at love in the first set, won that set 6-3. He broke him at love here in the third game, and then he broke him in the fifth game. He leads 4-1 in the second. We're playing the best 2 of 3 tiebreaker sets.
A critical game, Charlie, may very well have been the third game of the match when Lendl came back from 15-40, served an ace to save 1 break point, got out of it, and has not lost his serve. Wonder what our stats man Danny Green has for unforced forehand errors for Connors. 16. That tells you something. The unforced errors, Connors doubling Lendl's enjoyment.
15 all. Ace number 5. And it's 30-15. It was long.
Connors works hard for this point, but of course, what else is new? He's always working, pushing Lendl to his backhand corner first and opening the forehand down the line.
We come to 2 deciding points in the match. We're at 30 all. Connors, if he is able to win these 2 points, and he moves the cameraman. If he is able to win these 2 points and to break Lendl, and he's only down 1 service break, and the emotional uplift would be tremendous. Otherwise, Lendl moves to 5-1.
Well, you can see on this that Lendl isn't much of a volleyer, but with that serve, who needs to be? Connors, another spectacular recovery, but Lendl, all he has to do is block the ball, which he does.
40-30.
His first serve and volley point of the day.
Lendl continuing to dominate the big points in the match. Game to Lendl as he holds serve, and he leads 5-1 in the second set. Jimmy Connors serving now at 1-5. Lendl taking the first set 6-3 in 48 minutes. The service break came on Connors' serve in the 6th game, and he broke him at love. He's broken Connors in the 3rd and in the 5th in the second set. off volley. Connors with a tough three-setter yesterday. Lendl yesterday winning in straight sets. Temperature on the court yesterday, like today, 110 degrees. Connors giving away 7 years. He's 32. Lendl 25. It all begins to add up. You cannot take away from the play of Ivan Lendl. He's played superb tennis today. To the net. Lendl has approached the net only 3 times. Twice he's had winners. Connors has approached the net 25 times and picking up only 5 winners. Connors serving at 40-30 and 1-5 in the second. Down 2 service breaks. Miss it, and it misses. Game to Connors as he holds, but it may be too little and too late as Lendl leads 5-2. We'll be back after these messages from your Lendl. He's lost some weight. He's been on a diet. He's in better shape. He's in excellent fighting trim for the '85 season. He's certainly shown that today. 6-3 the first set. He's up 2 breaks, leading 5-2, and now serving for the match. Goes again to the sawdust. That's for the grip. It has not been broken today. $15 love. Bud Collins is working his way down to courtside. One-sided discussion with the linesman. 15 love. Service ace. That is the 6th. And the match for Lendl. And he's up 30 love. triple match point. He'll bounce it. And he puts it away. Connors gets a racket on it, cannot make a play. Ivan Lendl winning the PaineWebber Classic in straight sets, 6-3, 6-2. And we'll be back in just a moment. Bud Collins to talk with Jimmy Connors and the champion, Ivan Lendl. Don't go away. It took Ivan Lendl 1 hour 27 minutes. Straight set victory over Jimmy Connors, 6-3, 6-2. Now let's go down to Bud Collins. Bud?
Thank you, Charlie Jones. What a pleasure to be standing in a place that didn't even exist a few months ago. This is the miracle of the mangroves, this stadium, and we've seen two of the really miracle tennis players of our era today. Because of Jimmy Connors, this stadium was built, but another guy spoiled the party for Jimmy. We enjoyed them both. And now I'd like you to meet Ray Benton, who has been so influential in directing this tournament and making it a success. Ray?
Thank you, Bud. And on behalf of the tournament, I'd like to thank all of you, the tennis fans of Southwest Florida. We knew when we started the tournament that we had a great field and a great facility, but what we now know is we have a very enthusiastic group of people here, and we're really appreciative for your support. Before we start the prize money presentation, I'd like to acknowledge the contributions of three individuals. First of all, Mr. Roland Eastwood, who's the chairman of the Lee County Commission. And I'd also like you to meet John Armenia and Ed Cassavell. They're the developers of Sanibel Harbour. And they had the vision to build a permanent tennis stadium. And right here you have one of the finest tennis stadiums in the United States. I'd now like to introduce you to a gentleman whose company has been a big supporter of tennis for the last 10 years. This is Bill Mergler, the assistant to the president of Volvo North America, who will present the runner-up check. Mr. Mergler?
Thank you, Ray. On behalf of Volvo Tennis, we've been very pleased to present the PaineWebber Classic. And James Scott, on behalf of all those spectators here today and those that missed a wonderful, wonderful match yesterday when you came from behind, it's a pleasure to present you, on behalf of Volvo and PaineWebber, the runner-up check for $25,000.
How you doing?
Jimmy, do you get the feeling you're not in enemy territory?
Well, no, I'd like to say just a couple things, but most of all, I'd like to thank you people here for coming out and supporting the event this week. It was a first-time event here at Sanibel Harbour, and not only was Sanibel Harbour and everybody under a little bit of pressure, But with PaineWebber coming in and being kind enough to sponsor the event as a first-time event here, it was a little bit chancy for everybody. But you people here today, by coming out and filling the stadium, and NBC by televising it like this, is hopefully put this tournament on the map as far as being a part of the Grand Prix, and hopefully is as good for the community as I think it is, and I hope will continue to stay around here for years to come. So this. I hope you all have had fun this week. It's a tournament that at this time of year, with the weather that's here and the support that you've given it, is a tournament that I will continue to play as long as I'm playing full-time tennis, and hopefully a lot of the other top players in the world will continue to come here, not only for the tennis and for the facility, but for the weather and everything else it has to offer. So hopefully, if PaineWebber is inclined and Sanibel Harbour is inclined, I hope it stays around for a long time, and you people do too. Thank you.
Jimmy. Jimmy, I know no other tennis player in history has walked in and played a tournament in a stadium with his name over the front door. But what did go wrong today to spoil the party?
Well, I think it was a pretty good party all week, Bud. I had a good time here as far as playing here in my stadium. That was that John and Ed were happy enough to put my name on it, and I'm very pleased with that. But Ivan played good tennis today. He comes out and he starts off big, hits the ball very hard. He's serving well these days. So, you know, for me to continue to get in there and to gain the confidence now that I need to beat these guys, I just got to continue working. And, you know, if it comes around, it comes around, and that's what I'm working for. If it doesn't, I've had my time, and I've enjoyed my time, and if it does come around again, then I'll be there to grab it when I have the chance. But,
thank you, Jimmy.
I'm enjoying the tennis. That's important.
Your time has not ended.
Well, thank you.
It's now my pleasure to introduce you to a gentleman who writes the checks. PaineWebber has made a tremendous contribution to tennis. They've been in 3 years, and we're all very appreciative. And I'd like you to meet the chairman of the board and chief executive officer, Mr. Don Marin.
Thank you all very much. It's a very exciting day for PaineWebber. We brought our management here to this tournament from all over the country and some of our brokers. And we want to say, first of all, how much we appreciate the fans and the audience. It wouldn't be a tournament without you all. It's been a very sunny day for us, and I think the sign of a great tournament is who plays in it. In this tournament, we've had 3 of the top 5 players in the world, and those 3 are also the 3 winners of the PaineWebber Classic. In the first year, it was Andres Gomez, who fought the good fight with Jimmy Connors in the semifinals. Last year, it was Jimmy Connors, who's a winner all the time as far as we're concerned. And in 1985, it's Ivan Lendl in a very exciting match.
There you go. Hold up the check. Hold up the check. There we go.
Ivan, on behalf of PaineWebber and all the fans, we want to congratulate you on this fine win and present you with an unusually large-scale check for $50,000. Thank you again.
That's very dangerous money, Ivan. Could we just set it down? Ivan, do you feel like the man who came to dinner and wouldn't go home?
No, I feel very good because I I wasn't playing for a while, and I was very happy with the way I was playing throughout the week, and it's very nice to be competing again, and especially winning, you know. I don't enjoy dinners that much, so.
At the Masters, the last time we saw you on television, you were behind Jimmy Connors 5-2 in the final set. You won the next 5 games. Was that a lift to your confidence to win a match like that?
It was definitely a lift for me. I felt that time that I have won the match because I was feeling very strong physically at the end of the match, and I could run at the end as I did at the beginning, and it really helps because even, for example, today when it was very hot, I felt I can move and I'm not going to get tired no matter how long we play.
Why do you think you won today?
I don't know. You have been watching. You always know the answer. Why don't you tell us?
Oh, I've already done that.
Okay. I thought I was hitting the ball well. I was serving well, when, especially when I needed it. I mean, particularly the game at 1-all, 15-40 in the first set, and that was quite a big game because if I lost that game, Jimmy would be a breakup, and then I was coming to serve against the sun where I had a lot of trouble too.
Well, that was the big game, the third. So here he is. He's your champion. One day, maybe a stadium called the Lendl Tennis Center. Back to you, Charlie Jones.
Thank you, Bud, and congratulations to Ivan Lendl. Don't forget to stay with us because we have some doubles from the semifinals last night. U.S. Davis Cuppers Ken Flack and Bob Seguso, and they were playing Andres Gomez and Ivan Lendl. The PaineWebber Classic is being brought to you by British Airways, the world's favorite airline. By Volvo, a car you can believe in. By Hayes Microcomputer Products, innovative products for enterprising people. And by 4,200 investment executives of PaineWebber in more than 285 offices nationwide. We're back at Sanibel Harbor. Don't forget to stay with us. That Al McGuire and his special will be on immediately following the tennis. But Ivan Lendl, he wins in straight sets and a very decisive win. Could this be his year?
Well, I think this is an important win to beat Connors this way on national television, just as he did at the Masters. You know, players go through stages. I think all athletes do. There were 3 years ago, 1982, when he was winning everything in sight except matches that were really important. He had that 44-match winning streak. He was winning the little tournaments here and there, but he couldn't win one of the big ones. Now, last year in Paris, 2 sets down to John McEnroe, one of his nemesis. He wins it. That helps. At the Masters, down, way down against Connors, another nemesis. He wins that on a run of 5 games. I think this has to buoy his confidence tremendously, and I think this could be the year of Ivan Lendl, although if he can beat McEnroe, I don't know. Is Connors receding? That is another question of the year.
Now, when we talked with Lendl a couple of days ago, it was like an entirely different person. He was laughing and joking, smiling, very outward. He has a very wry sense of humor. He's not at all like the countenance that we see when he is concentrating on his game.
Well, we call him the Ostrava ghost to kid him because he was so pallid. But this guy, as I say about stages, 2-3 years ago, money, money, money. He made all that money. He's safe for 10 or 15 lives with the kind. Now he has to think, where is my place in history? Let's win the majors. And I think that's a new outlook.
And an excellent win for him today. Now, don't go away because we still have some semifinal doubles for you from last night. And we'll be back here in just a minute. Last night in the semifinals of the doubles, it was U.S. Davis Cuppers Ken Flack and Bob Seguso against Andres Gomez and Ivan Lendl. Flack and Seguso won the first set 7-6.
And watch Flack and Seguso. They could be the Davis Cup successors to Fleming and McEnroe. Flack will be serving 2-3, second set.
Ken Flack to serve. Serving 2-3, second set. Flack and Seguso won the first set 7-6 in a tiebreaker. They won the tiebreaker 7-4.
Flack and Seguso have won 13 of 18 matches this year. They've won 1 tournament, WCT doubles in London. That opened the year.
Hand signal from Seguso. And he has not poached on a service return yet. Now
no.
Gomez coming in.
These kids, Flack and Seguso, made their Davis Cup debut in Kyoto a month ago as the United States. There's the clenched fist. Defeated Japan very easily, 5-0. They'd like to stay on the team, but it's up to Captain Arthur Ashe.
Flack and Seguso are ranked second in the United States as a doubles team. Game to Flack and Seguso. The games are 3-all in the second set. Now Andres Gomez will be serving.
And Gomez played Davis Cup for Ecuador, along with Roberto Caz.
It's long. Gomez likes to play Davis Cup.
Yes, he does. Says that's his favorite form of tennis, playing for his country.
He lost in the semifinals of the singles to Jimmy Connors in the third set and played excellent tennis.
Gomez was just a little boy, but he says he remembers the greatest Davis Cup upset of all time when Ecuador beat the United States in 1967 in Guayaquil, his hometown.
Long.
Eyeball to eyeball.
Gomez holds serve, wins at love. Gomez and Lendl lead 4 games to 3. Second set. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Their deep receiving position. Although sometimes if it's a second ball, the receiver's partner moves up. Now let's see if Gomez does that. Not very far.
He started inside the baseline and then came back.
Now you've got a couple of sluggers, the receiving team, Lendl and Gomez, going against an experienced, coordinated team that doesn't hit as hard. Doesn't like the signal there. First time.
Shook off the signal.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Was that another killer moth?
May have been.
Flack dispatched it. That was the backhand of the night.
Oh, now he's going to go and apologize.
Are you hurt?
Little burial ceremony. Wraps it up in the towel.
That kid has become the house mortician. Woohoo!
Service ace, 40-30. His first.
Net court.
This is the first time in the match that Gomez and Lendl have taken either their opponents to deuce on their serve.
Did he get it?
Yes, he did.
Yep.
Down the middle. We're back at deuce. It's long. Game to Flack and Seguso. The game's a 4-all. Second set. Flack and Seguso won the first set 7-6 a tiebreaker and 7-4 in the tiebreaker. We have not had a service break in the match.
It can happen.
Lendl to serve.
Good runaround return by Seguso. Seguso and Flack won the Italian Open last year. That was when they first came to notice. Then the U.S. Pro in Boston, the U.S. Clay Court in Indianapolis.
Of 30, so Lendl in a little bit of trouble on his serve.
Never fails to get a laugh.
And the one thing that you cannot do in doubles is get your service return up. Sets up the volley at the net coming down at the feet. You have no chance.
Oops.
15-40, so now Lendl is in trouble. Flack and Seguso with double break point. Well, the match could turn right here and be settled. Down the middle. No, he didn't. Flack and Seguso up 5-4 with a service break. Bob Seguso on the left, Ken Flack on the right, winning the first set 7-6 and the tiebreaker 7-4. And now with the only service break of the match, breaking Ivan Lendl. Ken Flack serving 5-4 and a chance to hold serve and take the match.
Well, there are a couple of kids, Flack and Seguso, with their noses pressed against the window when it comes to singles. Seguso 208 on the computer when the year ended. Flack 154. They can't get into singles tournaments, but they've doubled their pleasure right here. And they might be the U.S. Davis Cup team this year if McEnroe refuses to play. The high popper half volley, but he stands right up to Gomez, and not only stands up to it, but takes all the sting out of that shot with a very tasty stop volley.
30 love. Close call.
Their one meeting with McEnroe and Fleming this year, Flack and Seguso, a very close loss in Houston, 6-4, 7-6.
It is long, 40 love. Triple match point.
The linesman was amused too by his call.
And we got it. Ken Flack and Bob Seguso defeating Andres Gomez and Ivan Lendl 7-6 in the tiebreaker, and then 6-4. And later today on NBC, Lynn Berman will have the final results of the men's doubles final, which will be taking place later here. Also, be sure to stay with us, because very shortly we'll be joining Al McGuire and his special on the Final Four. In 2 weeks, NBC's tennis tour will be at Hilton Head for the Family Circle, and from Hilton Head, Stan Smith, former Wimbledon and U.S. champion, has joined Bud and myself. But first, how were you impressed with Ivan Lendl?
Ivan played very well. I think he served well, and the ball seemed to be bouncing very high on this court. You know, he hit that forehand, and the ball would bounce way up to the backhand of Jimmy and to the forehand of Jimmy. So I think that he was struggling there with those forehands, but the serve was the main thing. He just served too well, and Jimmy didn't get many easy points.
Do you see this as a watershed year for Connors, perhaps receding from the top, Stanley?
Well, you know, you'd speculate that way, and you'd think that would be the right speculation, but we said that a couple of years ago about Jimmy, didn't we? And I think it's just a matter of how much he really wants to play. If he really wants to play hard and really work hard, he can stay in there and maybe, you know, win one of the major tournaments. But if he's just going to play part-time, he can't do it.
Well, I think Lendl myself has turned a corner, Stan. I felt that he wasn't a competitor in the league of Connors or McEnroe until fairly recently, when he went up against those guys. And by winning the French and the Masters and a match like today, that he may have a little higher priority for himself in trying to find out where he belongs in this game. It's one thing to be a millionaire, but that really doesn't do much good in posterity.
Well, he's disciplined himself. He's going on that diet, so that's one thing, a point of discipline. He's also won the French. It's a major, so he's gone over that hurdle. He beat Jimmy after being down 5-2 in the third in the Masters. That was a competitive effort, and I'd like to have seen a really close match to see how he would have competed in the third set, and that would really be a determining factor. But otherwise, I think he's really making a turning point, and he could win one of the big ones again this year.
Can he win consistently? Can he win at this level consistently and stay at the baseline?
I think he can on a slow surface. At Wimbledon, I don't know if he can do it or not. He's going to have to really feel confident serving and volleying, and possibly the doubles that he's been playing in some of these tournaments will help him to do that, because he has to feel comfortable serving and hitting that first volley on the run. He never does that now in singles.
Stan, you won both the U.S. Open and Wimbledon. We've talked so much about what a win like that does for your confidence, but you were there. What did it do for you to win a tournament like that?
Well, it really does help your confidence. Certainly winning in 5 sets, being down 2 sets of love, you know you can do it, and you know how much the press puts pressure on the players. I mean, I know, and you all have been doing it, so
we know.
Once you got over that hurdle, Watson went through that. You know, they said he was a choker.
Tom Watson.
Yeah, Tom Watson in golf. Now he's not doing it, and he's got all to gain, I think, now.
Well, Charlie, we're looking forward to Hilton Head. Stan will be down there as the tennis host at Sea Pines. Chris Everett Lloyd is going to be there, and I'd like to see some women for a change.
So do I.
All right. So the tennis tour will continue in 2 weeks on NBC. Congratulations again to Ivan Lendl. For Bud Collins, Stan Smith, I'm Charlie Jones. So long from sunny Florida. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of tennis is Ted Nathanson. Today's telecast was produced by Jeffrey Mason, directed by Bob Levy and Ted Nathanson. Technical director Lenny Stucker. Associate producer Bob Bachet. Associate director John Libretto. NBC's tennis tour continues in 2 weeks with coverage of the 13th annual Family Circle Cup from Hilton Head, South Carolina. Then it's 2 jewels in the Grand Slam crown with exclusive coverage of the French Open from Paris and the All England Lawn Tennis Championships from Wimbledon. Coming up next, Coach Al McGuire will recap the 1984-85 college basketball season and set the stage for the championship in Lexington, Kentucky. Then star players of the NFL compete when the superstars comes to Sports World. Watch top pros compete in various events such as tennis, swimming, the 100-yard dash, and the obstacle course. That's all today, right here on NBC Sports.